Gordy here, and I'm just going to review my ships so that everyone kind of knows the generals of ships and why I've gone after specific ships I have the characters leveled up for and that are in my arena squad. So I'm going to start with the looking at the specific ones that are in my arena squad first and just kind of tell you guys where they are in my arena squad and why. So the main three in my arena squad are Darth Vader's TIE Advanced, the Imperial TIE Fighter, and Bigg's X-Wing. Now, these are all from the old Medan ships back when you started with 5 ships, which helps a lot because a lot of people already had these developed. On top of that, they're overall just great ships. Both TIE Advance and Biggs can make for good reinforcements and other squads, and the TIE Fighter is one of the ships that is able to defeat the boss ship really well. So, because he's able to put uh, immunity from buffs onto Bosk if he has target lock on him. So, what this team does for me is Biggs is the main tank. And Biggs on his basic with uh, hit the mark, I think it is. Yeah, hit the mark can inflict target lock, which is nice because it works well with his kit, which gives him more protection, and he has critical chance, and then he also just has good protection recovery with everyone else on his team, and his academy maneuver is great for dealing damage and taking out a tank on the other side real quick, because what you do is you put a target lock on the other side, and then it will call a random ally to assist, which works well because your other 2 allies starting at the beginning of the round the should be attackers with TIE Fighter and TIE Advance, who both deal lots of damage. Now, TIE Advance, one of the things that's great about TIE Advance is it automatically hits with its basic and always inflicts target lock. It's one of the important things because what you have to do is you have to get that target lock down in order to ensure that you get the top up on Biggs. Um, so that's great with him. And on top of that, on defense, his second ability that removes. I'm looking for it here. Can't find it. But his second ability, if an enemy has target lock on them, basically puts a bunch of debuffs on them and removes turn meter, which is really annoying on defense. Um, that has caused me to lose several times on defense. I have you now is what that's called. Um, his unnerving presence is a good reinforcement ability, and that's because it just comes in with a bunch of damage over time, puts offense down on the enemy, and offense down in ships really hurts. That's one of the great things about Thrawn being a capital ship, which is my capital ship for round. So let's go ahead and talk about that. The Chimaera is, in my opinion, the best capital ship in the game. So you really need to work on your rebel ships and the Phantom and Ghost in order to get Chimaera 7 stars if you don't already. And what's good with the Chimaera is these 2 abilities here. Art of War, it heals all of your sides and buffs them in various ways with either offense on your attackers or with defense on your tanks, which is really helpful if your tank is about to die. It's really annoying when the other side heals their bigs with their Art of War. which means you have just more to chop at while that Bigg is still getting more protection. The Phylon Beam also removes some turn meter from your side and inflicts speed down if they evade it or resisted it, which means that TIE fighter that normally evades is also going to get speed down if it happens to evade. And on top of that, Fierce Loyalty is great because it's increasing the critical damage and critical chance of your side, which means you're doing even more damage quickly at the beginning there. And then my reinforcement ships are currently Slave 1, TIE Reaper, First Order TIE Fighter, and Scimitar, Darth Maul's ship. So the main one I generally call on first, which is really abnormal, many people don't have it as a reinforcement, is the TIE Fighter, First Order TIE Fighter. What I love about the First Order TIE Fighter as a reinforcement is its reinforcement ability, raid communication protocol. When it enters the battlefield, it inflicts target lock on your target enemy, which is nice because then that means Biggs gets his taunt back if he's lost it, which there are several ways for him to lose it. And it also gives your Biggs more protection, which is really nice. The other thing it does is it gives all your allies 15% turn meter. I like this more personally than ones that remove turn meter from the other side because it's 100% going to happen. You don't have to worry about whether or not you're actually removing that turn meter because the other side's able to resist it or not. You automatically get that. So that's really nice. On top of that, Relentless Pursuit just does massive damage, and by the time it comes out on the battlefield, there should already be target locks because of your TIE Advance and your TIE Fighter, and possibly even your Biggs if he happens to apply it. And if no one has target lock, his basic attack has a chance to hit twice, it deals a decent amount of damage, and it can possibly inflict target lock, which means you just have tons of possibilities for target lock. So one of the other main ships that a lot of people love is Slave 1. Slave 1, I think, is a decent reinforcement because what he does is he comes out with Taunt and several other buffs on him, like Retribution and Protection Up and Critical Hit Immunity, that make him a little bit more difficult to defeat quickly as a ship, and he's dealing damage to the other side because they're having to attack him. He's just really annoying. There are ways of getting around him, like TIE Reaper that I'll talk about in a minute. And he also deals decent damage to the other side. I personally generally don't call him out first, but he is a good ship, and I suggest getting him if you do. On top of that, you need bounty hunters to get Chewbacca, so might as well. And his basic does target lock, which there's a lot of target lock synergy on this team. If you look at TIE Advancer, if Imperial enemies attack with an enemy with target lock, you get more turn meter, various other things. So there's just a lot of target lock synergy. I'll also be honest, I don't know ships in and out, but it is my favorite part of the game, and I enjoy them. I know the ships I use decently well. So the next one I'll talk about is TIE Reaper. TIE Reaper is one that people think is a terrible ship because of Ships 2.0. It's actually still a decent ship. And yes, it was a fantastic ship before Ships 2.0. Ships 2.0 changed how good it is. But honestly, it's still a great ship, and people need to realize this more. One of the awesome things about his reinforcement ability is it removes turn meter from the other side, gives your own side turn meter, so it gives you a potential 20% turn meter advantage, and it's inflicting defense down for 2 turns on your enemies, which means you're going to be hitting your enemies for even more damage, and you often want to bring it out closer to the end of the battle, so that means you're able to get that win up and secure it when you might, when a second ago it could have gone either way. On top of that, let's see. Yeah, heavy interference here. I love this ability, and this is generally why I call it in, is it dispels all debuffs from the other side. And it removes some turn meter. I forget that part. That's good to know. But it dispels all debuffs from the other side, and it's an Imperial ship, which means you're getting the buffs from Chimaera that make it deal more damage. So I just love it because it's nice having a ship that's able to dispel debuffs as a reinforcement, because you might need that. And I often use it on Boba Fett when the other side is just called in Boba Fett, because it basically takes the whole reason they just called him Boba Fett out of the picture. Also, it still has that turn mirror. Capital ship loses 15% turn mirror when a ship is defeated. That was why it used to be an excellent ship in the first place. And defensive battery does off its down on its basic, and you can give yourself more protection with Imperial support, which is also always nice. It may give you that little bit of health that you need to get through the end of the battle. So, no, TIE Reaper is still a good ship. And on top of that, you should probably have your Death Trooper up for the Sith raid. And your Shore Trooper is just great for Imperial Troopers, which is a fantastic team for territory battles. So you're getting good characters here that are being leveled up. Darth Vader is, if you don't have Traya, he's still viable in arena teams. Type fighter pilot, not so much, but he's great in territory battles and territory wars. Same with Biggs. Biggs is great with Wedge in territory battles and territory wars. So you're getting good characters here. First Order TIE pilot, I use him all the time in territory battles, even though he's not on a First Order team, because he deals great damage. So you're getting good characters here. I just want to emphasize that. What other ship haven't I talked about yet? I haven't talked about the Scimitar. So the Scimitar is honestly a ship I'm thinking about eventually replacing on my reinforcements, but it is a good ship. And one of the things that still makes it good, and is why it was always a reinforcement in the past as well, is slip through right here. Sorry, I had to find it. Slip through. It gives a target ally protection up and retribution while making all other allies stealth. So essentially, it's a false taunt, just like R2-D2. And when put on TIE Fighter, it can still be really annoying, because TIE Fighters still often will dodge, especially if he has Foresight up, which he can give himself on one of his abilities, not on his ability, not his basic. So it's still nice. Now TIE Fighter doesn't dodge as much as he used to, but this ability still gives him a false taunt, while he's able to deal damage to the other side if he has that retribution. And it can be annoying and can win you the battle. And the turn meter you get for your capital ship from TIE Fighter dodging often may be the deciding factor in the battle. This is another one I more call in based upon circumstance. Generally, otherwise, Boba Fett or First Order TIE Fighter are my first choice. But that's my current ship's team and my current thinking behind them. I hope everyone enjoyed this. I'm going to make another video real quick to talk about some of the other ships. Then I plan on making an actual written guide sometime soon, but this is a lot easier for me to do. So hope you enjoyed this, and be back with you soon with another video.